Hey guys, welcome back. The latest Inside Infinite is officially here, and I'm not gonna lie, I think this might be the best one yet. We've got some new campaign screenshots that look absolutely incredible with tons of details hidden in them, along with loads more details about the game on PC as well. It's going to be a good one. Real quick, before we dive into the juicy details, I want to let you guys know that I've actually just started a new channel that is dedicated entirely to smoking meats, to barbecue, and to just cooking in general. It's called Flooded with Flavor, and I'm going to be releasing my first video on it this Saturday night, which is going to be a 19-hour brisket smoke. So I'd really appreciate it if you guys went over now and just subscribed to the channel and also turned on all notifications for it. I'd really appreciate it. But anyways, let's begin April's Inside Infinite. The two devs that Unisheck is talking to today are Jeff Guy, the producer for Infinite on PC, and Mike Romero, the development lead for Infinite on PC. 343 have got an entire team dedicated to the PC version of Infinite because, as we've seen in the past, they've talked about it being a first-class experience, and, well, we're about to see why. So, before we even get to any written details, we're hit with this absolute beauty of an ultra-wide shot of a Forerunner interior from the campaign, and dude, this looks absolutely beautiful. I love the accents and the detailing on the walls. It's very classic trilogy. It's really detailed and intricate and really builds up the idea that the Forerunners were this really sacred species, but at the same time, it doesn't make the environment look over-cluttered or over-designed or visually messy. It's that perfect balance that I loved so much about Halo 1, 2, and 3, and it's great to see this make a return. I'm in love with this environment. I've also got to say this is really, really specific, but I love that door design. I can't believe I said that. I love the design of a door. I really do, though. I think it looks great. It reminds me of the Delta Halo control room doors. You know, the massive one that you go through to get to the Tartarus boss fight. It looks fantastic. And that's another thing as well. The scale of these environments is, again, perfect. It feels very combat evolved and also kind of like very Halo 4 in a way. I think one of the things that Halo 4 nailed with the Forerunner design was the kind of scale of everything. It kind of harkened back to CE in that manner, and they've done that again with Infinite, and it looks very, very good. Also really cool seeing both the old and new Grunt designs together in this environment fighting alongside each other. It's going to be really cool getting to encounter kind of both eras of Grunts together. Although I will say one small criticism. It looks to me as if the Grunts and Jackals here aren't casting any shadows, and as you can see, this Grunt here is, like, I think, clipping through the wall. So there are a few graphical issues still, but obviously this is a work in progress build, so that's always going to be the case. This is not the final version of Infinite, so I imagine these things will be fixed by launch. I would be surprised if they weren't. Right, so moving on to the PC version of Infinite, both Jeff and Mike say that they want to make a Halo game that feels like it was always made for PC. And so, Halo Infinite is, in their words, a Halo built for PC players by PC players. Infinite also has very good ultra-wide support, super ultra-wide support, triple keybinds, many input devices are supported, there's advanced sensitivity and also acceleration for the mouse, and many, many more settings that are predominantly meant for PC. Here we have some shots of the in-game graphic settings and also keybind settings. I'll just scroll through these pictures now, which look very, very good. It's great to see very in-depth graphic settings. Mike also says that you can hide your HUD entirely if you want to take some nice screenshots or overlay your own thing while streaming, which is very cool. Having a full, like, HUD-less playthrough, but hopefully with your weapon on the screen as well, so it's not just like the blind skull, would be really, really cool. In fact, that's a feature that I've wanted for a while for kind of just like B-roll purposes and for getting like cool sort of semi-realistic footage of the campaign, so that is going to be really, really useful for many purposes. And also, we got some details here about how you can join your friends, which might sound kind of weird and kind of minor, but it's pretty cool. So the ways that you're going to be able to join your friends in Infinite are through Xbox Live, through Steam, and also through Discord, both in-game and out-of-game invites, which is really cool. Furthermore, you're going to be able to host a local multiplayer server on your PC, so other players on your local area network, both on PC and Xbox, can join your server and play Infinite with you, which I'm pretty sure is just LAN. You can just create a LAN environment that easily. There's also going to be ranked and unranked matchmaking playlists where both PC and Xbox players can play together. Further elaborating on that input-based matchmaking, they've said that they're going to be restricting competitive playlists based on input type, not console versus PC. So you can, if you're on PC and playing keyboard and mouse, you can match console players if they're playing keyboard and mouse, because the Series X and I think a lot of Xboxes now support that, and vice versa with controller as well. They also confirmed that not only is an FOV slider coming to the PC version of Infinite, which was kind of obvious, but console is also getting an FOV slider, which is fantastic. Here we have a comparison between 16:9, 21:9, and 32:9 super ultra wide. And the only thing that I can draw from this right now is that I am going to need a super ultra wide monitor for Halo Infinite. This game looks absolutely incredible with that aspect ratio. It just takes that idea of scale and kind of insignificance that the Forerunner environments make you feel just one step further. I need to get me a super ultra wide monitor, dude. Look at this. So, moving back to some details about the PC version of Infinite, when designing Infinite for PC, the massive diversity of PC builds is taken into consideration. Now, Mike said he specifically wanted wider aspect ratios to allow you to see more horizontally instead of seeing less vertically, which apparently, well, not apparently, clearly makes for a more immersive experience. He did also mention that, I mean, it's kind of obvious, but a lot of work has to go into designing the game for various aspect ratios, because comparing like 32:9 to 16:9, there's a significant difference in the amount of like visual information on the screen, from the heads-up display to Chief's helmet display to like UI elements and everything. They all have to be designed for very, very different sizes of screens. They also said that the game is runnable in 4:3 aspect ratio as well, which is actually kind of cool, kind of nostalgic. So obviously a lot of stuff has to scale from 32:9 to 4:3, and when you consider the difference between these two aspect ratios and the difference in like how much information is on screen at once, that cannot be an easy job. They touch more on Infinite's cutscenes as well, which are done in a style known as narrative moments, and they said that they want to make sure these cutscenes work without having to crop to a specific aspect ratio like most traditional cutscenes do, where they kind of force it into 16:9. But doing so takes a lot of work to ensure that things that, for example, you can see in 32:9 but not in 16:9 don't end up glitching out, or like things that you're typically not meant to be able to see unless you're in like a really niche aspect ratio don't end up glitching out or not loading in properly, or like fail to load completely. A lot of games have this issue where on really wide aspect ratios, animations don't work properly, or like there's lots of texture pop in and stuff like that, so it's good to see them making a conscious effort to prevent that. And yeah, they then touch on that pretty much specifically, saying that like the same goes for all of the kind of like personal animations as well, and the view models. They've got to make sure the view models, like what your character actually looks like in a first person perspective, looks as good in 4:3 as they do in 32:9, which cannot be an easy feat. And then they round off this section by saying that they believe the ultra-wide support in Halo Infinite is the best in any game ever. And to be quite honest, based on what we've seen in this article so far, I'm very much inclined to believe that. Here we have another new campaign screenshot showing off a very similar environment, but in a first-person perspective this time, comparing the various aspect ratios in the game, and also comparing the 78 degrees field of view to 120. But let's take a look at this picture in more detail. We'll go from left to right because there's a lot to break down here. Some absolutely just lovely detailing on the walls. I'm a big fan of the accents on the walls here. And here we have a Banished Jackal. I believe this is actually our first look ever at an actual Banished aesthetic Jackal, which I am a massive fan of. That helmet looks so cool. It's really reminiscent of the Combat Evolved Jackals, and the armor in general makes it look like a kind of heavier Jackal or something. He looks very fitting wielding a shield gauntlet. I'm looking forward to fighting these guys in game. I'm a big fan of this design. I really like the subtle lighting on these pieces of cover and how the lighting kind of illuminates the details on the ground. It just makes the environment look that bit more kind of, not photorealistic, but just immersive. Here we have what I think is a Banished Brute Miner. I would assume it's a miner given the light blue armor. And it kind of looks like he's got a beard, I think. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying that he's got a beard, and I could see it being either a beard or like a shadow from his chin, given that like zooming in on this is kind of low resolution. It's quite hard to tell, but I would love if that was a beard. One of the biggest complaints most people had about the Brute design from last year was the complete absence of facial hair or just any hair or fur in general, and giving them like Halo 3 style beards would definitely be a way to combat that. But the absolute magnum opus of this screenshot, and possibly even this entire article for me personally, is this right here. The Halo 3 Guardian design is back. Oh my god, you guys have no idea how much this makes me happy. This design, this singular design from Epitaph in Halo 3 is not only one of my favourite designs in Halo 3 or for the Forerunners, this is one of my favourite pieces of like Halo design, just full stop. This design to me just so perfectly encapsulates the kind of ominous mystery of the Forerunners and their constructs and their mysterious designs. It really does encapsulate the Forerunners as kind of like a species as a whole, and seeing this back, oh, yeah, I have no idea how happy that, oh my, dude. I saw this and I freaked out. I am so happy to see this back. I would love to see these things like hovering above a planet or above Zeta Halo or something alongside the other Guardian design. It would be really cool to see them together just to show that both eras of Forerunner kind of architecture and design do coexist. I am such a big fan of this. I really hope it is a Guardian Sentinel. I mean, they might rename it, to be fair. They might bring it back as something different, but I'm in love with that. I can't believe they've actually brought this design back. This is... That makes me so happy. I'm sure you can tell, but I can't quite formulate a coherent sentence that perfectly encapsulates how happy that makes me. Anyway, moving on, the assault rifle looks pretty damn nice, and moving on again, we have the weapon holder Grunt that we saw in a Mega Bloks figure or collection or something a few weeks ago that looks really cool. It's like a Grunt that I think it holds like weapons on its back or something, kind of like the evolution of those Grunts in Halo 2 that used to carry the turrets into battle, which I think is pretty cool. And then finally, we have what looks to be, or not what looks to be, what is literally, according to Unisheck, a redesign for the Sidekick. It looks like it's got some kind of like underbarrel attachment on it, like a flashlight, or maybe I'm dreaming, but a laser. You know, if that was a laser, that would very much make my snake solid. And then finally, we have a plasma grenade and a new piece of equipment that looks to be either a regen field or maybe a bubble shield. It looks like one or the other. The little kind of line in the middle looks like it could be either the regen field emitter or the bubble shield emitter. And those lines around the outside look like either a healing aura or a shield like a bubble shield. Guess we'll have to wait and see. So moving on, the team talked about the PC design philosophies, especially when it pertains to Halo Infinite's multiplayer, especially considering that it's going to be free to play, because one of the biggest kind of issues that comes with that is hackers. So the main thing they talk about here is the anti-cheat. Now, they've said that they want to make an anti-cheat for Infinite that doesn't get in the way, doesn't root your machine like Valorant does, and doesn't block any like legitimate apps, and also they want it to be as unobtrusive yet as safe as possible. They then introduce Michael Van Kuipers, I'm sorry if I butchered that name, dude, I apologise, who is the security engineer, to talk specifically about anti-cheat, and he said that their anti-cheat philosophy is to make cheating harder in ways that don't involve kernel drivers or background services, which is one of the main problems that people have with the anti-cheat that Valorant uses. It's like kernel level or something, so it's always running on your machine even when you're not playing Valorant. People aren't a fan of that. So Michael said that they've done a lot of work securing the Slipspace engine and developing novel ways to protect and change the game to slow down cheat development. And also, when they catch cheaters, they want to do it by analysing their behaviour rather than data that's been harvested from their machines. And then moving on to some more PC multiplayer details, it was confirmed earlier today that Infinite will feature not only cross-play, but also cross-progression, which is pretty cool. And they've said that for multiplayer, they're going to have input-based restrictions in ranked cross-play, so one platform doesn't necessarily have the edge over the other. They're also going to be ensuring that people who are playing on really old machines don't feel like they're at a disadvantage when they're matched against people with newer machines, which obviously can cause quite a big disparity in how the game runs and the performance of the player. They say that in combination with the TrueSkill 2 ranking system, this should make the game fair across the entire crossplay ecosystem, which I imagine is not that easy to do considering not only the number of platforms they're designing this game for, but also the diversity between the lower end and high end ones, comparing like an original 2013 Xbox One to like a modern day like ultra high spec PC. there is a big disparity there, so I imagine that is very hard to balance. Infinite is going to be available on, get your notebook out because there's quite a lot of platforms here, Steam, the Xbox Store on PC, Game Pass for PC, the Xbox Store on console, or in a box on a shelf for the console version in a store, which is great. I'm happy to hear they're doing physical edition still. Bit sad that there's not, by the sounds of it, going to be a PC physical edition. I imagine that, to be fair, the market for that would be so small, it would probably be operating at a loss if they did that, but I don't know. I'm a sucker for like collecting physical editions of games, and I'd love to own a PC edition. The Halo Wars 2 PC physical limited edition is actually one of my favorite pieces of Halo memorabilia, because it was so hard to get and also so cool, but I'm not going to lose sleep over this. It's just, I wish they were doing it. And then to round out the PC section, Uni asked the two guys what their favorite features of Infinite on PC are. Jeff said that it's either the graphics or crossplay, and Mike listed quite a lot of options, which is good. It's either ultra-wide support across the entire game experience, high refresh rate support, throttling to maintain frame rate, low input latency, cross-platform LAN support, which has a lot of potential, and other things, just to name a few. To be honest, I'm not surprised that he can't settle on one feature, because that all sounds really, really good. Right, moving on, we have a few pieces of just kind of random miscellaneous information about the game. So, Sam Henshaw, who is the live producer for the game, said that they're progressing towards expanding playtesting opportunities ASAP. So, make sure that Halo Insider profile is up to date. Link is in the description to the Halo Insider page if you want to go sign up. If you want to Flight Infinite, then make sure that Insider profile is up to date. Tashi said that the venue for the first Infinite HCS event has been secured, and also the venue for the first Halo World Championship for Infinite has been as well, which for any fans of HCS or esports out there is pretty exciting. It's also going to be great because the HCS team are working with Esports Engine, who is run by Adam Apicella, who is one of the old guard at MLG, who was one of the main driving forces behind Halo MLG. They are going to put on some absolutely incredible shows. I already know it, so I'm excited for that. And finally for this bit, Grim said that he's excited about the amount of discoverable audio log content that can be discovered and dissected. You know your boy is going to be covering all of that in the most insane detail possible. I cannot wait to find it all. Given where this game is set, I imagine there's going to be a lot of juicy details in those audio logs. Okay, so penultimately we have yet another in-game campaign screenshot. Now, I just gotta say before we focus on anything new in this shot, I am in love with not only the design, but again, the scale of these beam towers as well. 343 have absolutely nailed the scale of the Forerunners. I cannot wait to play this game's campaign. But if you just whip out your microscope real quick, you'll see here that we have a Banished Chopper. The chopper is back, baby. I mean, to be fair, a Mega Bloks set got like announced about 2 minutes before this article came out that showed the chopper, and oh dude, it's back. It is back, baby. After so long of waiting, we're finally getting the chopper back. I'm not that surprised, to be honest, given that obviously it's a game about the Banished with the brutes coming back, but man, I cannot wait to use this thing again. It has been too long. Oh, and also real quick, in this Mega Bloks set that kind of announced the chopper prematurely, there's also a figure of Fred with his infinite design with a Spartan laser. Looks very nice. And our main man, Escharum. I'm really hoping this means that Fred and Blue Team, by that extension, are in the campaign. But man, look at Escharum, dude. That armor with like the plates that go above his shoulders looks so cool. I cannot wait to see this dude in game. Going back to the campaign screenshot, we can see scattered across this kind of cliffside, there are quite a few banished encampments and like ammo supply boxes and stuff, so I'd assume that we'll have to fight up this cliffside for whatever reason at some point. But overall, I would say this picture looks really, really good. I'm in love with the environments. I will say, I think overall the graphics still aren't quite there, at least in the distance. Like close up and in sort of like medium range, the graphics look incredible, but at a distance, they still don't look amazing. However, all of these screenshots are work in progress. I imagine this stuff is going to be ironed out before launch, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. But man, I cannot wait to explore these environments. I'm so excited for this game. And so, in typical Inside Infinite fashion, we have some final words from the man, the myth, the legend, Joe Staten. A picture's worth. It's cliche to say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but honestly, I'm gobsmacked every time I see Halo Infinite in an ultra-wide or super ultra-wide format. Halo games have always aspired to fully immerse you in a sci-fi world filled with mystery and adventure, but playing Infinite in 21:9 or 32:9, the Halo world enwraps you like never before, especially if you have one of them fancy curved ultra-wide monitors. And just you wait until you see the game's cinematics in these formats. Dude, I cannot wait. What I do think bears some additional words aren't what features we're building for PC, but rather who is doing the building. One of the best parts of being the new guy on Halo Infinite is that I get to meet a whole bunch of people. While Jeff and Mike are too self-effacing to say this themselves, in my career they're two of the most talented, dedicated and humble people that I've ever met. They're working exceedingly hard to make the Infinite PC experience as great as it can possibly be. And the good news is, when I look across the whole team, Jeff and Mike aren't alone, not by a long shot. As we head into the shutdown and polish phase of the project, I wish all of you could see the incredible work that I have the privilege of playing every day. The same intense commitment to making a game that you, Halo's most ardent fans, will love to play, exists across the team. Finally, a brief customer service announcement. While I hope you enjoyed this month's 1,000 word screenshots, we know that game videos are worth at least 10,000 words. And the great news is that the summer, i.e. game industry event season, is just around the corner, and there are glorious plans afoot. Stay tuned, Spartans. Okay, so sounds like we're getting more gameplay in the summer at events. Not surprising in the slightest, but great to hear. And so, that's Inside Infinite. I'm going to keep this ending nice and short and sweet, but honestly, that might be my favourite one yet. I mean, those campaign screenshots, dude, especially in that Forerunner environment. It looks so good. Like, the design for everything in those pictures is just beautiful. I can't think of another word, just my brain is fried right now. Absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait to play this game. Oh, man. I'm very, very excited. I am very excited, but I'm going to round the video out there because I ramble way too much at the end of videos nowadays. So, thank you all very much for watching. Please don't forget to go and sub to Flooded with Flavor. The link is in the description. I would really appreciate it. And I'll catch you all in the next one.